Welcome back to Boomer's Playground. We're going to be going over the first JavaScript exercise in the Colt Steele Web Developer Bootcamp. I'm going to be going over these exercises as if I am bringing on a new person at work, or I'm onboarding an apprentice or a junior, or kind of getting them up to speed with the JavaScript knowledge they need to do the job. I'm also going to assume some things from the questions that I get or that I see on the Discord for this Udemy bootcamp, because there are a lot of really good questions and they're pretty repetitive, right? People ask the same questions over and over and over. So I'm going to kind of take both what the questions I get at work when I'm bringing somebody on or onboarding somebody, and the questions that I've seen through Discord, and I'm going to kind of combine them both to hopefully answer a lot of the questions that most of you will have. If you're taking this course through Udemy and you're not on the Discord, I would highly suggest it. There are a lot of really, really smart and intelligent people that are there to help. Just log into your account, go up to this course orientation, and there's the joining the community chat and groups. And here are the links. There's a Facebook group. I'm not on Facebook, so I'm not on that one. But the Discord is what I'm on. And apparently there's a YouTube channel as well. So if you're taking the course through Udemy and you're not on these, get on them. There are a lot of people that are there to help, and a like-minded group of people. So, all right, so let's attack this first problem. So our first variable is exercise. So the file name really doesn't matter, but it's just asking us to define two variables. If you got to this point and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to do this, you may want to go rewatch the previous videos. This is pretty basic. I will normally never say this, but if you don't know how to just do this, you may want to go back and watch videos. Coding and problem solving is not about memorization, but this is one of the few times that this is such a simple or such a basic task that you're going to want to know how to do this just right off the top of your head. So let's assume you don't, though. You were busy, your kids were screaming, you were doing something else, and you just forgot. That's fine. Happens all the time. So let's assume you don't know how to do that. So let's see. So what we can do is, and this is really where the skill set comes from, right? Companies are not paying us to memorize things. They're paying us to solve problems. So the big point to this is you want to be able to, you don't have to memorize a solution, but you need to know how to find it. And so, we don't know how to define a variable. So define a variable, so we can just Google that. So let's see. So define variable JavaScript. Okay, and then the first one's W3 schools. All right, so there are three ways to declare a variable. So we can use either one of these. Now my mind is starting to think like, oh, I remember that video. That's fine. And then we come down here and we'll see, okay, so var x equals 5. And then right here it tells us that x is going to be 5, y is going to be 6, which makes more sense. And then this one's kind of weird, but it says it's going to be 11, so it's probably just adding 5 and 6. But we don't really care about that, but kind of a side note. But I think we got enough here. So let's go do this. And we can do var my lucky number, and we'll set it equal to 37. And that's just because that's what the instructions say up here. If I can highlight it, which I can't. And then we'll do another one, octopus limbs, and we'll set that equal to 8. And let's see if that solves the problem. And awesome, looks like we did do it. So perfect. So we weren't sure how to do it. We Googled it and we found an answer. Now, this is something that I did not do the first year or so at my developer job, and I wish I would have. This is a poor example of this, but when you copy, when you Google something and then you copy and paste it into your code and it works, what I was doing was I was just being like, oh, sweet, it worked, peace, on to the next task. When in actuality, I should have been doing, okay, cool, that worked, but why did it work? And again, this is tough because this is a pretty basic example, right? We're just, okay, cool, so we can use var here. So apparently we can use var, let, or const. I know what they mean. I'm sure a lot of you know what they mean, but let's assume we don't. Okay, so var worked. Let's see if let works and let's see if const works. All right, so we got var there, and let's try let. I'll do let. Let's see if that still works. Okay, looks like it does. And let's see if const works. Okay, so all three of them worked. Um, awesome. I'm still not 100% sure what these are. So at this point, if you were doing this challenge, you're like, I really just don't know the difference between var, let, and const. A couple things you could do. Go to the Discord, ask, be like, hey, I was doing coding exercise 15. I solved it, but I'm not sure how. So what you want to do is you're like, okay, cool. I Googled, I found this link, and I just don't know the difference between the three of these things, but they all seem to work. And then somebody will help you on that Discord, or you could just Google the difference between var, let, and const, and we can read an article. Either way, the key point to this is we want to be learning why these things work. Because just copy and pasting, while that will work and that will, satisfy the tasks, it's not helping your growth any. So for anybody here who's not familiar with what the differences are, is var is an old school way to create a variable, and it kind of creates a global variable, which is not what we want. So people argue about this a lot, but nowadays, like if you're watching this video, as of the time of me recording this video, you probably never want to use var. There might be some weird super edge cases that you can, but really you just kind of want to think of var's old school. We don't want to use it. No go. We always want to use let and const. And the reason we want to do this is let is block scoped, which means if you create it in a function, nobody outside that function has access to it. And const is the same, but const is a constant where you cannot reassign that value. We will be going over this more in later exercises for this, but that's just kind of a quick breakdown of the differences between those three, in case you didn't know. So awesome, we've solved our first solution. I will call that a day. Like, subscribe, share, and we will move on to the next coding exercise